This is 5 and 10 from Skywatch TV for Monday, June 17th, 2024. I'm Derek Gilbert. This will be a unique program today and tomorrow, in fact, as we want to bring you some information about what's been going on at Whispering Ponies Ranch. And there's a reason for this. This year, I can safely say we have seen more spiritual warfare connected to the operation of that camp than we have in all the years that it's been operating. It's forced some changes on the way Whispering Ponies Ranch has had to operate, but rather than me summarize what's been going on, since I'm not directly involved in the day-to-day operations at Whispering Ponies Ranch, today and tomorrow we're going to play a couple of excerpts from a 1-hour update recorded by Ardis Horn, Nita Horn, and staff members from Whispering Ponies Ranch who are aware of what's been going on and how they've had to be very flexible and change in order to continue the work that we have been led to at Skywatch TV and Whispering Ponies Ranch. This has been a very challenging season with some very unexpected last-minute obstacles that are not completely overcome at this point. But again, rather than me summarize, take you now to Ardis Horn, Skywatch TV CEO and one of the principals involved with Whispering Ponies Ranch.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Skywatch TV. Today we have an update for you on some challenges and some victories that are taking place this year regarding our charitable outreach camping program for the children of Whispering Ponies Ranch. We're about to outline for you some very specific areas of prayer that we need your help with, and we're also going to explain some dynamic things that God is already doing in the midst of what has definitely felt like a total rearranging of norms. I'm joined in the studio today by Skywatch TV's head of human resources, Cherise Parton, founder of Whispering Ponies Ranch, Nita Horn, my beautiful wife, Catherine Horn, Skywatch Television's social media director, Brittany Jackson, and the animal encounter specialist at Whispering Ponies Ranch and my oldest daughter, Kate Horn. First, what are some of the challenges that I referred to just moments ago? Well, just prior to the beginning of our camping season at Whispering Ponies Ranch this year, we received notice from our insurance company that they were canceling our total policy. Now, this was one that we had had in place for several years, I believe over a decade.
Yeah.
And this was a policy, of course, that covered all of our buildings, our assets, our liability for guests, visitors, people staying overnight. And this cancellation came with very little notice. And so, of course, Cherise, you recall this.
Oh, absolutely.
You and I immediately began, you in particular, really working this over, began to reach out to several brokers, several of which that you've personally known for years as your
Right.
family and your husband used to work for another large camping ministry for decades and decades.
Exactly.
And so you know a lot of people.
Yeah, thankfully.
You began to thankfully.
Yes.
You began to reach out to several brokers and underwriters that were very confident.
Yeah.
They were sending us the emails almost daily. Relax. We're in an environment here where historically this is what you can expect. We
Yeah.
should have plenty of time to
Right.
get coverage so that there's no overlap
Yeah.
in coverage. When you first began reaching out, these brokers and underwriters were telling you that there would be several options for policies
Oh,
on
yeah.
the table well in advance of our Whispering Ponies Ranch camping season. One was even being described as a likely shoe-in.
Yeah.
Because this particular insurer had worked with this individual for decades.
Oh,
and
35 years. Yeah.
35 years, and his expectation was
Yeah.
this is probably likely a shoe-in, and then at least 2 to 3 other options on the table.
Right, for sure.
So there was no reason to be overly alarmed at the time.
No, none whatsoever.
So we continued to move forward in faith that God was going to move some mountains around to make sure that our 2024 season was covered. Now, what did that look like? We had John Batchelder fly out
Yeah.
for the annual
Recertification.
recertification of both our staff that handle all of the rock walls, the zip lines.
Yeah.
He recertified the zip lines and the rock wall itself. He climbed up on
Right.
with all of his gadgetry and make sure that all the cables, no weather damage, all the things
Right.
that he looks at, the posts, he inspects for density. He puts calipers on the cable and makes sure that everything is in order and is safe.
Right, right.
My wife was doing food service for several weeks
Oh, yeah.
for the guest leadership who were
Yeah.
coming up for the pre-camp
Training.
season.
Trainings.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
We were still holding trainings.
They're lodging with us. She's on the weekends because I've got the little kids. She's doing the food service. We're readying the animals,
Right.
the facilities. Ashley
yeah.
is,
The staff is-
readying
yeah.
the dining hall.
Just
Everything
had
is.
a new archery berm.
Thank
Yeah,
you. Thank
yeah.
you. We actually, and I'll put a picture of this up, we actually, for the 2024 season, built
A new
a
archery.
brand
Yeah.
new archery season that
Yeah.
we were going to debut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we, in good faith, even despite this news, said, Lord,
We believe.
we are believing that this is going to happen, and we moved forward in faith
Absolutely.
Yeah.
that there would be no gap. But a few days before our first camp was set to arrive, which would have been just days ago now, there appeared to be a shift in confidence coming from several of these brokers. They kind of went out and did a litmus test for us, and the reports that they began to send to us very recently now was that the climate for insurance companies and coverage
Yeah.
had shifted.
Hard
Yeah.
market.
Something this year has transpired, and I'm not going to get into a ton of the details around what we speculate those shifts could be.
Yeah.
But we're finding out that it's not just Whispering Ponies
Right.
Ranch, it's thousands
Yeah.
now of churches in particular.
Absolutely.
And by the way,
Ministry
since this is
camps.
ministry camps,
Yeah.
church camps, anything focused on anything that resembles what we do
Right.
at Whispering Ponies Ranch,
Yeah.
and
Nationwide.
it's kind of a me too.
Yeah.
Now that we've put this out, others have contacted, churches have contacted, hey,
Yeah.
us too, have you had any luck finding an underwriter?
Right.
So now we find ourselves in this position where we are in a line now
Yes.
of people all clamoring for the same kind of coverage.
Yeah.
Right.
And a lot of them can't get it if they're
Right.
further out west nationally.
So these brokers and underwriters started to kind of telegraph that we may be facing, further reaching delays than we had originally expected.
Yeah.
Right.
The other thing that they began to inform us about was that the cost of this new change in the market,
Yeah.
that if you are finding a policy, you can expect, and I quote, astronomical hikes in
Right.
coverage.
At least
So-
double.
Yeah, at least double. Now, at the time of this recording, we find ourselves in uncharted waters, an unprecedented situation that
Yes.
if you'd have told me, 3 months ago that we
Yeah.
would be dealing with this, I would have said, you're nuts.
Something
Right.
we've never
Been with these
experienced.
people
Yeah.
for a long time. This is what they do.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not like we have a series of catastrophic injuries.
No, right.
You know, like large claims or anything like that. And I want to emphasize that by the time you see this video, we may have already started receiving phone calls that there are now options on the table. So this could
Yes.
change at any second, which is why we remain steadfast committed. Our facilities are ready.
Yep.
Our staff is on standby. Our amenities are ready. They're inspected.
Everything.
They're certified. They're ready to go.
Very optimistic.
We're very optimistic.
Right.
And we've seen some breakthrough, and I'll tell you about that in just a minute. And then we're going to share some stories about what God has done in the midst
Spite of
of
it.
this
Right.
rearranging.
Right.
It's like, God, what is this lesson?
Yeah.
You've allowed this. What is this lesson? And we're going to highlight just a snapshot. And I'll even explain why I look so silly today. Where's his suit? But anyway, we have at the time of this recording, though, had to begin partnering with the Royal Family Kids organization that would historically bring their children to Whispering Ponies Ranch in an effort to find alternative locations for them to have camp. Now, were we to allow to have visitors, for those wondering, and we were to experience, let's say, a catastrophic injury or an event
Right.
related to one of our facilities, it could potentially damage us financially in irrecoverable ways.
Absolutely.
And in the long run, jeopardize our ability to continue serving the
Entire
historic
ministry
model.
as a whole. Yeah.
Yeah. Some of these amenities were erected at times where financially there was a more robust environment to dream and build big
Right,
things. This
right.
was when my father was alive, and he was
Yeah.
a big dreamer.
Yeah.
Now, because of the financial construct that we find ourselves in, with donations being way down and the costs of everything being way up,
Absolutely.
the thought of having to replace a building that originally costed
Oh, there's no
many
way.
hundreds of thousands.
Right.
Yeah.
Materials are through
No.
the roof from
So,
inflation.
again, we stand steadfast. We are ready, and we are waiting for the Lord to show us what the next move is.
Absolutely.
Right.
I want to highlight what in part he's already done. So, again, without getting into the boring weeds, there's lots of layers to the types of insurance that you need when you run a camp like Whispering Ponies Ranch.
Oh my
It's not
goodness.
just for your assets for,
Right.
let's say, flood, storm, damage,
Right.
tornado.
Right.
It's also general liability.
Yeah.
We were facing, just a couple of weeks ago, a potential gap in coverage even on the assets, which would have meant that we could be very vulnerable to
Very.
like a storm or
Absolutely.
a tornado, meaning you
We've
would
had
lose.
a lot of those lately.
We've had a lot of those. So I'm
Yeah.
like, Lord,
Yeah. Right.
we need coverage on these assets,
At
because if
least
we have
the
another
buildings.
tornado take
Right.
last year with the trees coming down on some of the buildings and stuff, financially this is going to be a giant hit.
Right.
So you're in control. We're asking you to help us with this.
Mm-hmm.
And he did. He did come through. We
Yes.
do have a policy
Praise the
now.
Lord.
Thank God,
Yeah.
literally. We
Yes.
do have a policy now on all of the assets.
Yeah.
And there were reasons why that was even unlikely at the time.
Yeah.
So that was a total God thing, moving some mountains around for us. We do have coverage on our assets. Now, the coverage on just the assets is more than twice what we were paying just 6
For
months
the
ago.
entire policy.
For the entire policy plus general liability,
Right.
which would have meant injury, et cetera.
All the things.
So we're already seeing that what has been foretold is the case.
Yeah.
When I do find an underwriter that comes back and says, we can provide the part of your coverage that has to do with liability, injury,
Right.
and other things, visitation, overnight
Right.
guests, lodging, that kind of thing. Right now, we are kind of expecting it could be astronomical. And again, the Lord is in control, and we
Right.
believe that he cares about this ministry, and he wants to
Absolutely.
see these
Absolutely.
children here. So again, Lord, what is the lesson?
Yeah.
Okay. In just a minute, we're going to highlight a couple of very specific areas of prayer that you can partner with us when
Yes.
we petition the Lord for solutions to some of these challenges. And I want to highlight now some of the ways that he's already begun to rearrange and to move things so
Yeah.
that kids aren't missing camp. First,
Absolutely.
by the grace of God, even late in this season, we've been able
Yeah.
to partner with several of our camps, and the ones that are still looking are still being aggregated to places that are opening their doors.
Yes.
We've been able to
graciously.
make new friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we've made new partners first, and for the purposes of privacy, I will exclude first and last names
Yeah.
and even locations, because again, where these children are camping is
Absolutely.
not for public
Right.
consumption.
Right.
So, but we've made new friends and partners
Yeah.
with neighboring campgrounds that did not know we existed.
Right.
They did not know about the mission of Whispering Ponies Ranch or what
Absolutely.
Skywatch TV is all
Right.
about.
Right.
Right.
And so there's kind of a bond being forged, maybe
Right.
for some longer term ministry,
yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure.
where they are now taking some of these camps in
Yeah.
that would normally be at Whispering Ponies Ranch. And we have actually last week, and I'm going to explain some of all this, partnered with the Royal Family Kids Organization at these other locations to
Right.
continue to make sure
Yes.
that the children that you love and
Right.
support are receiving their Jesus encounter at a Royal Family Kids camp.
Absolutely.
So while temporarily some of these locations are not Whispering Ponies Ranch, we remain absolutely committed to
Yes.
the vision
Of
of
what
what
we're
happens
about.
at Whispering Ponies Ranch. And God is kind of broadening our series of alliances now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing is that some of these campgrounds have learned about our dilemma and have gone to the same insurers now and said, is my policy intact? And they've been basically told, we cannot cancel you until September.
Right.
Until
Whenever
their
your
premium
renewal date.
Yes.
When
Your
it, yeah,
premium
so the
renewal.
absolute renewal date. So
Yeah.
that's kind of a wink, wink
telltale.
telegraph.
Yeah.
Because if you want to continue business with somebody, what you might say is, don't listen to the scuttlebutt. Your insurance policy is solid.
Yeah.
So what we're seeing is a trend of church camps, basically any apparati that is attached to children-focused ministries,
Yep.
a place where they're going to have an encounter with
Exactly.
Jesus, is basically under assault.
Yep.
Yes.
We feel like this was kind of a Luciferian last-minute assault, but I don't want to give him credit for things
Right.
because God only allows for things.
That's true.
Absolutely.
So maybe this was his big weaponized last-minute blunder, and now these other camps have been put on notice. They're already preemptively looking for,
Way much more
Yes.
time
as a
than we
result of
had.
seeing what we're
Yeah.
dealing with.
Yes.
Is this making sense?
Absolutely.
100%.
So we've made new partners. Camps are moving forward.
Yes.
God is doing amazing things in the lives of these children.
So, as with the kidnapping of Joseph, what the enemy meant for harm, the Lord has turned for good. Other Royal Family Kids camps in the area here in the Ozarks that weren't aware of Whispering Ponies Ranch have now made contact and are networking with WPR. Furthermore, those camps have been put on notice that the insurance market is changing and that they themselves may find it difficult to renew their coverage when their next renewal date comes up. something the enemy seems to be targeting at these camps that are working with children in desperate need of the love of Jesus Christ. The Royal Family Kids Camps have been life-changing for the children in foster care who've been blessed to attend them. And I think that is what's behind the principalities and powers, the cosmic rulers over this present darkness, expending so much energy to try to shut them down. But instead, Whispering Ponies Ranch now has new partners. And again, these new partners are now aware of some of the enemy's attacks, stratagems being aligned against them. And we pray for the Lord's intervention. And we thank you again for your support, because you need to know what is going on with the work that you have been supporting through Skywatch TV at Whispering Ponies Ranch. Tomorrow, we'll talk about how some of these changes have resulted in unexpected blessings for the staff of Whispering Ponies Ranch. Straight ahead, we'll talk about this week's Skywatch TV program, Witchcraft in Washington,
Well, ladies and
D.C.
gentlemen, we want to take a quick break to
much.
tell you how you can get
That's
your
next on
copy
5
of
and 10.
both of these incredible new works in the Out of This World and Gate of the Gods special offer. When you order this incredible offer from the SkywatchTVStore.com, you'll receive the brand new book, Out of This World, Are UFOs, Aliens, Spirits, or Pure Hokum by Lieutenant Colonel Robert McGinnis, that exposes the faults in both the science and theology regarding the existence of UFOs. The very real possibility that UFOs are manned by extraterrestrial beings much smarter and far more spiritual than humans that are preparing to deceive mankind as we approach the biblical end times. The recent surge of UFO activity all around the globe, and why Lieutenant Colonel Robert McGinnis is calling for Project UFO, a national strategy to determine if we face an existential threat, and so much more. But that's not all. You'll also receive Gate of the Gods, Revelation, the Messiah, and the Second Coming of Babylon by Tyler Gilreath, that brings to life the war between Jesus Christ and the power of darkness as illuminated in the book of Revelation. A cosmic end-time struggle between the Hebrew king of promise and the Old Testament gods of Babylon. The hidden Babylonian framework in the book of Revelation that can only be seen through ancient Near Eastern eyes. Unmasking Babylon the Great, and more. Also included in this must-have special offer for a very limited time, Lieutenant Colonel Robert McGinnis's best-selling book, Give Me Liberty, Not Marxism, and his book, Kings of the East, China's Plan to Eliminate America and Impose a Communist World Order. All of these items hold a retail value of $84. Yours now for your donation of only $45, which includes free shipping to all U.S. orders. So don't delay. You can scan the QR code on your screen using the camera app on your phone for instant access to this special opportunity. You can also visit us at SkywatchTVStore.com or call 1-844-750-4985 and ask for the Out of This World and Gate of the Gods special offer right now.
Pentagon Insider takes a hard look at the UFO UAP phenomenon. Talking about Lieutenant Colonel Robert McGinnis, his brand new book, Out of This World, Are UFOs Angels, Spirits, or Pure Hokum? He's in a position to have some unique insight into what the government knows, or lets us think it knows, about the UFO phenomenon. It seems like a fringe topic, but I will say again, as I found in my research for the book I co-authored back in 2017, The Day the Earth Stands Still, there are far more people in America who believe we're being visited by extraterrestrials than who believe in God as he has revealed himself in Scripture. A lot of people say they believe in God, but then they pick and choose which parts of the Bible they want to believe. That doesn't count. Anyway, the 4-week series is ongoing right now, featuring the new book by Colonel McGinnis, and also Gate of the Gods by Tyler Gilreath. Gate of the Gods, Babylon. How does it relate to the end times? Fascinating programs. Don't miss a one. You can find it right now at our website, skywatchtv.com. Also, over the air, our broadcast schedule is posted at skywatchtv.com/channels. You can catch it right now at Roku or Apple TV if you've got the set-top box, or the Skywatch TV channel, that is, for your set-top box. It's also available on the internet. We're at Rumble, rumble.com/skywatchtv. And yes, the main program is back on YouTube at Skywatch Television, but best of all is get our free mobile app. because that brings all of our content right to your smartphone or tablet and bypasses the gatekeepers. We've got apps for iOS, Android, and Amazon Kindle Fire phones and tablets. It is free. Many other features besides just the content, but that's worth it right there. You'll find it at our website, skywatchtv.com/app. Thank you for watching as we keep watch. I'm Derek Gilbert. This is 5 in 10 from Skywatch TV.